Hey guys, welcome to Manifesting Better. I'm back with another video and another topic that needs to be addressed. I also have an Instagram account, the link for that is in the description box below. Coaching is also available, the link for that too is in the description box below. Why is it easy to manifest some things and why is it difficult to manifest the others? So in this video, I will be talking about this because this is a highly misunderstood topic in this community, where some people say that manifestation is so easy, it was so effortless for me, I only affirmed for 2 days and it came to me, this and that. And some people say that, oh, I have been working for years and this didn't happen. But in some areas of my life it comes instantly, in some areas of my life it doesn't come instantly. Some coaches and some people talk about why manifestation should always be easy, and then when it doesn't become easy for you, then it is of course going to lead to frustration. So let's get into it. Let's understand everything. The first thing that you have to understand is that manifestation is not always easy. And for someone who has worked in multiple areas of their life, like me, and who has had trauma in a lot of areas of their life, manifestation has not always been easy, and that's okay. And maybe you are in the same boat where manifestation has not always been easy on you, and manifestation has not always given you the instant results that you were promised. And that's fine. That doesn't always mean that you're doing something wrong. It just means that it isn't easy for you right now. And that doesn't mean that it cannot become easier. It just means that if it is not easy, that doesn't always mean that you're doing something wrong. And if it isn't always easy, it doesn't mean that you judge yourself for it not being easy. For people for whom it is easy, I will explain why for some people in some areas of their life it has been easier to manifest some things and a little bit difficult to manifest the others. And in here I will also touch on the topic of time a little bit because that will be relevant here. See, we all have a different self-concept in different areas of our life. And this is a topic that I have covered before in a past 1 or 2 videos, like a video which I posted 3-4 videos back. You can go and check it out. And where I talked about why manifestation works on belief system, and we all have a different belief system in different areas of our life. And because we have a different belief system in different areas of our life, and a different kind of self-concept in different areas, we have different kind of resistance, different kind of traumas, different kind of past issues in different areas of our life. So I can have a good self-concept in general. I can have a good self-concept with money, but I can still struggle in relationships. I can have a good self-concept in relationships, but I can still struggle in friendships and career. I can have a good self-concept in every area of my life, but still not like myself, still not love myself. And these are common things because self-concept in general is a good term, which means that how I see myself in relation to my desires and in relation to the things in my life, but it's not always that. So sometimes self-concept is about a more detailed and specific thing in relation to the areas that I want to go into. So sometimes I can have a lot of resistance in relationships, and my self-concept in every area of my life can be great, but I can be stuck in relationships. Now let's understand why that happens and why in some areas of my life I have a good self-concept, in some other areas of my life I don't. It depends on how we have grown up, what kind of childhood we have had, what kind of things we have seen, what kind of way we have been brought up, and what kind of things that we have seen our caregivers, our parents, our guardians do when we have been younger. Of course, I cannot give you the exact reason why some areas might be difficult for you, but I can give you a generalized advice here. So let's take an example of someone who grew up in a home where there was a lot of wealth and a lot of money involved, like they were financially very secure, but the parents had a very toxic relationship. They had unhealthy patterns. They did not know how to regulate their emotions. They did not communicate well. And every time in relationships, the female, the mom, and the feminine energy in that relationship, what she used to do is every time her importance was not being given, she used to victimize herself. So she used to say that, oh, I'm like this, I'm like that, or she used to blame, self-pity, self-victimize, and all these things to get attention from other people. Oh, I'm always like this, no one ever listens to me, no one ever values me, things like that. And that is when the father, the male figure, used to give the female figure the attention. So for this person, and maybe the person in here is a female who was involved very, very closely to her mom, and she saw those patterns very deeply. And this person grows up and they get into relationships, and because her definition of relationships was dependent on how she saw her parents acting, she started thinking that this is how you get attention in relationships. So every time she gets into a relationship and every time she doesn't get her needs met, she starts to react. And when she starts to react, she's doing it because, according to her, creating that drama is going to get her some attention. But instead, the guy in this figure doesn't act like her dad. The guy walks away and the guy says that I'm not going to be with you. And then she starts to say that my relationships are always difficult. But for her, manifesting wealth is very easy because since she has been young, she has been taught that money can be easy for you because it was there and because their beliefs about money were easier. Do you see, for someone like that, beliefs in relation to money are good? So, of course, manifesting money is going to be easier for them. But beliefs in relation to relationships have a lot of traumas, have a lot of issues involved. And because there have been issues involved in there, for them it is difficult to manifest relationships because they keep affirming that I am in a relationship, but every time a relationship comes, they act the same way that they used to before. And they aren't able to figure out why it keeps going back. This is why it keeps going back, because the patterns that are involved are not the correct patterns, because the patterns are misunderstood, because the definition of relationships is misunderstood, and because there is wounding and trauma in relation to that. Another example would be, let's say, I am someone who did not have a lot of wealth when growing up, who always suffered with money and finances. And as I'm growing up, because I used to suffer with money and finances, that became a reason for my parents to take a divorce, right? Because my father used to work extra or my mother used to crib about it all the time, and it became something where it ended up in a divorce. As I will grow up, in my mind, a lack of money is now connected to interpersonal relationships. And I will always see money as something difficult. And I will always see money as something that can ruin relationships. So when I will either have fears in even earning money, because I will feel that what if I earn it and lose it again? Because if I earn it and lose it again, that would mean my relationships will go away. But maybe because of that, I had a very close bond with my friends. And for me, manifesting great friends, manifesting comrades in my life is very easy. I can just easily do it. Or because of that, I became someone who valued themselves a lot. Because of the way that I grew up, I overcame a lot of things. So my self-concept about life can be very good. Do you see how, because we have different trauma and because we have different pasts about different things, it is difficult sometimes for us to manifest some things and it is easier for us to manifest some other things. So in theory, yes, it is true that manifesting some things will be easier. Definitely it would be. And usually people don't have trouble with manifesting things. They get these things in some capacity in their life. Usually they have trouble maintaining things and letting them stay in their life. The biggest issue I see, because I have dealt with 5,000 plus clients, the biggest issue that I see when people are working in relationships is not that they aren't able to manifest the relationships or they aren't able to manifest movement. The biggest issue I see is that they aren't able to handle movement. They aren't able to handle patterns because they fall back into the same patterns again and again. And that is why it gets troublesome for them and start to get into that mindset that, oh, manifestation might not work for me in this one area, and why is it so difficult to manifest this thing when I could get a cup of coffee easily? Because you're not sitting there wondering if the cup of coffee will text you or not. Because you have not connected your self-worth with that cup of coffee. Because in your mind, that cup of coffee is not equivalent to you being successful or not. That is why it is important to work on all these issues for yourself. Not because it is easy or difficult to get it, but because after you receive it, you also want it to stay in your life and you also want it to flourish. When you want and you get relationships, you want these relationships to flourish. You want these relationships to go somewhere. You just don't want these relationships for the sake of it. When you get wealth, you want that when you get your wealth, you are able to enjoy it. When I started working on myself, I had a lot of financial constraints in my mind because I grew up in a household where finances were back and forth and where there was a lot of lack of it and a lot of fear of failure. And when I got into manifesting money for myself from different areas of my life and I got into that place, at the start it was difficult for me to come to terms with it. I'm not sharing this for you guys because I'm saying it will be the same for you. I'm just sharing it to tell you that you consider me a coach and I also went through it. So it was not that it was always easy for me. But now I consider myself someone who has a good kind of mindset in relation to money and success because I've worked on it. And similarly, when you will work on it, it will be easier for you to manifest those things too. When your belief systems will fall in line, when you will have dealt with your trauma in relation to those things, it would be easier for you to manifest those things in your life too. I know you guys understood the topic. If in theory, yes, like I said, it's easy to manifest things, but when you have resistance and trauma in the middle, it sometimes can get difficult. If it is getting difficult, that doesn't always mean that you're doing anything wrong. It just means that you're leading up to your manifestation. So take that into account. Don't be so hard on yourself. You are doing great, and I will see you guys in the next video. Click the like button if you liked the video. Subscribe and turn the notifications on for more such content. Comment down your video suggestions and I will see you guys in the next one.